finished a class that I was teaching in my Elevate community, and we were talking about the power of one person and the difference that one person can make in this world. And I just sent out my newsletter this morning, which I've gotten a lot of response to. And I wanted to share with you how important it is for you to recognize that your energy is your contribution to this world. And that when we shift our identity, when we begin really paying attention to our energy and how we show up, it isn't always about what we're doing, but it's about what we're being, who we're being. I absolutely believe in the be the change you wish to see in this world. And when we're going through challenging experiences, I think it's important to recognize the energy that you bring to each environment, to each group of people, to the space that you enter, and really acknowledge what that is for you. Are you bringing stress or fear or worry or excitement or calm or peace or harmony? What do you bring to the space? Because that internal state that we are in affects, there's a ripple effect. It affects everyone around us. It radiates outward, and our loved ones feel it, our people feel it, our community feels it, our clients feel it. And I was talking about this in my Elevate community, how important it is, because people aren't always reacting to what it is that you're saying. It's that they're reacting to the energy that you're bringing to your nervous system, because we are co-creating, and your energy affects somebody else's. And you can come into a space with peace, and that can be your contribution. That groundedness, that connectedness, that oneness, that steadiness. And it's important. I just shared my newsletter this morning, and I always write a little blurb from me. And I thought I would share it here to hopefully bring you some steadiness, because there is a lot that's coming out, a lot of information over the last several months, of course. So I thought I would share it with you, and I'm just going to read you what I wrote. And if it's something that brings you value, wonderful. If it's not, then you can skip by. So there's a lot coming out right now. There's stories, there's documents, there's allegations. There is information that is disturbing and heartbreaking and uncomfortable to look at. And it's not just in one circumstance, one situation, one person. It's so complex, and it's so much bigger than the headlines that are made from it. I think that systems are shaking, and institutions are breaking down, and leadership is falling apart, and structures that so many people have believed in and that thought that they were safe and solid, and the foundation of what they believed in are being questioned, exposed, and falling apart, quite honestly. And when those systems begin to crack, it's usually ugly. It's not comfortable, but truth coming to light is important. And things that have lived in the shadow need to be seen. They need to be brought to light. And it's always a reminder to me that it is darkest before the dawn. And so then yesterday, of course, we all woke up to the news of the bombings and that escalating of war across the globe. And I can sit in that discomfort, certainly not understanding why we have to get to that place, and how humanity reaches that point again and again and again. And, what I can do, and what one of us, which is a ripple effect, can do, is send light to every innocent life that is affected, because this is so much bigger than what we see, and um, it is exposure on a systemic level. And there's times where I get angry too. Moments where I feel frustrated, overwhelmed, angry at the harm that happens, and at the betrayal, and at the lives that are affected, lost, hurt, and the division that is infiltrating every aspect of our lives if we let it. And that can activate us, right? And it certainly has activated me. And I choose to pull back and to not react, and instead choose to respond and to feel the feelings, to take the power back, to step in my power and pull myself into present moment. What can I control? What can I do? Where is my power? And that is to breathe. That is to step away. That is to get out into nature. That is to trust the universal process, and to remember who I want to be and how I want to show up in my life and in this world. And, if you know me, someone that that I am someone who, that's not new, right? I have always, throughout my life, pushed against labels or being told what to do or what to think or how to be. I've always questioned systems, all kinds of systems: the education system, the political system, the healthcare system, the financial systems in general. And instead have chosen to trust spirit deeply. And I do believe that blindly trusting higher ups, media narratives, governments, institutions, simply because they have some form of authority, that's never been my way. And so the exposure that's happening, the things that are coming to light, the conversations that are being had, this is not news to me. But that in and of itself is sad but true, and it's a true statement. Um, what does concern me is how quickly whatever it is that rises to the surface, whatever that is, divides us. And I think a lot of times that division isn't always loud. It's something that is subtle, and it shows up in ways that are designed to trigger emotion. Before we even understand all the details, we just get reactive immediately. This is humanity's go-to response because our nervous systems are so shot. It shows up in social media posts, and it breaks it down from like these complex circumstances and situations into just simple creation of right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no, villains, really. And it also shows up in our social media algorithms so that they feed us more of what will make us angry and reinforce more of a perspective that shuts out any other way of seeing things, any other nuances or truths. And I think it shows up when accountability turns into just a character assassination, when entire groups of people are labeled because of the actions of a few of a group of people. And I don't know about you, but I've never loved labels. So when those conversations shift from seeking to prove truth to prove something wrong, we need to pay attention. There's lots of ways that division shows up: families arguing at the table, friendships that are separated, that feel divided. And I know for me, having in community and lots of communities, it is my constant intention to keep that division out of my communities, because I believe that when we get emotionally activated to a point, we can't listen anymore, and we don't ask questions anymore. We just choose a side. We stand on that side beyond our willingness to just look and seek understanding. And that's where that division really takes root. It's not in disagreement. We can disagree. Disagreement is natural. It's healthy. It's normal. But the division begins when we stop seeing each other as human beings. When we are more grounded and centered, then and in our bodies and in alignment and present, then we can hear and see and listen and have communication. And when we're emotionally activated and we're dysregulated and out of alignment, it is far easier to be influenced by that division. And I think that's where we lose our power. And so, what I'm really aware of and what I wanted to share, and I shared again in my newsletter, is that this isn't about one thing. Like, everything is coming to the surface, right? It's not about a particular religion. It's not about a particular person. It's not about a particular industry. It's not about a particular political side. Harm doesn't happen to just a category of human. This is about consciousness, and it's about integrity, and it's about alignment, and it's about what happens when power operates without accountability. And accountability matters. Compassion does not mean the absence of justice, and standing in love does not mean excusing abuse and hate. Truth deserves to be seen, and harm has to be addressed. And then there's this thing that is really challenging for so many people, because two things can be true at the same time. There can be a person who inspires you, and that same person could be an asshole and could be harming other people, and you don't see that. There can be systems that have supported you, religious groups that have really served you well, but that also can be protecting corruption or protecting people that have been harming people. And there can be leaders and teachers and speakers, like in my industry, who have changed your life, but they can also be not living the information that they teach and living in that shadow space, because they're human, and humans are fallible, and this can feel heartbreaking and disheartening and all the things. But we can't get into these extremes, at least from my perspective. We can acknowledge that there is good and that we experienced good things from different people, from different circumstances, from different environments. And we can also recognize that they are humans and that they're showing up differently than what they are saying. And stand with the people that have been harmed, but also honor your truth. You don't have to deny your truth in order to honor somebody else's pain. It's not a this or that experience. I know it's hard, and both exist. And as structures are exposed and as those systems are breaking down, I think it's easy for that energy then to go this or that, right or wrong, good or bad, us against us. And that division just spreads. But it could be creating awareness, because maybe people want division to spread. Maybe they want more division because maybe that makes us weaker. So what can we do? What can you do as the one person that can make a difference? What can you do? What can I do? You have to decide that for yourself. But here's a few things I know. We can regulate our systems. We can seek support and guidance when we're out of alignment. We can go within and connect with our spirit. We can connect to our breath. We can meditate. We can pray. We can journal. We can move our bodies. We can sit in quiet, and we can create space between the experiences that we're having and that we're witnessing, that we're seeing, and how we respond. And we can refuse to let fear take our power. We can send love, and we can be love. and not in a way that's minimizing what's happening, like not bypassing accountability, but just being very grounded and intentional. And we can hold light for those who have been victimized, who have stories that are showing up and coming up, for those that have been harmed, for those that were abused or silenced or manipulated in so many horrible ways. And I choose to stand with all humans whose voices have not been heard, or who haven't been able to share, or who weren't listened to, or who were taken advantage of, and that carried that pain alone. All the people that have been victimized, the people that are struggling right now, those innocent lives that are being affected by decisions and choices from people in power. And I know what that feels like, to be silenced and to be quiet and not speak up. I've been one of those people as well. And I think that we're in a time, I hope, where healing matters more, and that justice matters, and that truth matters. And my hope and my intention is that if the systems are breaking down, which they are, and I think it's ugly, and I think we're seeing it and we're living it, and it's difficult to do, but we could have some hope that because they weren't built with integrity and transparency, or maybe even consciousness, that even though that breakdown feels stressful and chaotic, it could be the beginning of rebuilding something that could be better. And I really do believe that the light wins and that love heals. And I also think the world doesn't need more reactive outrage. There are people that works great for them, and that's great, but you are not required to have reactive outrage. You can be a grounded, centered, responsive human also. Because I do think that we need leaders and teachers that can witness the pain without losing their compassion, that can stay connected and informed and in center and stay loving. And we are capable of holding truth and holding love at the same time. And if you're in a place where you're not capable, that's okay. Then some of us can pick up the slack. It is probably going to take some practice, and I believe it's possible. And so I guess I wanted to share, because I think this is so important, is that it's hard, and I get it. It gets scary when you hear some of the news and some of the things that are out there. And so much has been piled up over the last several months and years, decade, whatever. Don't let the heaviness of this world harden your heart, friends. Don't let it steal your joy and your peace. Let it deepen your compassion. Because the concern, I said this a lot during the pandemic, is we don't want to become the monster that you fight against. If we lose our humanity by exposing the inhumanity, then we miss the point. We literally miss the point. So, my friend, I'm here. I love you. I appreciate you. Shine your light. Have a great rest of your day.